in February 2024. And we had two Bird of Feathers meetings at APAN61 and APAN58 in Islamabad, Pakistan. And which was after the two meetings, we were officially recognized as a working group from APAN59 in Japan last year. So the scope, the terms of reference for the working group is to have the discussion and initiatives related to the advancement and application of HPC and AI within the APAN network. This includes, but not limited to, research collaborations, technology sharing, capacity building, and the development of innovative solutions to common challenges. So basically, the idea is to bring together different communities, different groups within the APAN region to connect together. As you know, there's a lot of digital divide within the region. So we want to bring together to develop the workforce and also bridge these two areas together and support the progress in the region through innovation. So that's basically the idea. We are gaining a bit of traction, and I'll explain other activities that we have done in this area, and also your suggestions and proposals are greatly valued. And also at the end of the session, I'll let you know how you can join this working group mailing list and contribute towards this future success. So the activities so far, we have started an APAN conference. That conference was started in Colombo, APAN56 in Colombo, 2023 August, and we have brought this under the APAN HPC AI from the second iteration, and we have had 3 iterations now in Colombo in 2023, in Pakistan at APAN58 in Pakistan in Islamabad, and at APAN60 in Hong Kong last year. This year, the conference, 4th international conference, will be conducted at APAN62 in Auckland, New Zealand. The call for proposal for this conference will be announced within this week, which we are conducting in collaboration with IEEE from this year onwards. We have also conducted these APGAN workshops. This is a project that funded by APNIC ISIF and co-organized by Learn and BDREN. And we have had a lot of success with this, and I will present to you about a small report on our success on that towards the end of this session. We have also had a white paper on HPC AI in the region that was presented to the REN leaders, that is the Research and Education Network Leaders Forum, which is a new special interest group within APAN, and this is adopted at APAN59 in Yokohama, Japan last March. Okay, so without further ado, we will move on to the keynote speeches, which is the highlight of today's the main session on HPC AI. The first keynote speech is from Dr. Kandakar Abdullah Al-Mamoon. Is a professor in AI and digital transformation at the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, and the director of CSC program, and the director of IIC at the United International University. And he'll be talking about AI development, AI for development, empowering youth and transforming equity. Over to you, Professor Mamoon.
Very good morning. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can open. Okay. Thank you so much, APAN, for inviting me to actually deliver my keynote on AI for development, empowering youth, transforming equity. I think I thought that this could be a very timely things because our Asian country full of Gen Zs, and they are the driver of our economy. And inequality is something we're facing every day. So how can we actually use artificial intelligence for our development trajectory and transforming the equity? Okay. Okay. So thank you so much, Session Chair, for giving a generous introduction about me. So, I think we all know about it that youth is the majority of our nations, and they have a lot of economic pressure. Job is one of the big issue nowadays. Digital penetration, and youth are no longer passive; they are active in our trajectory. So in that context, in Bangladesh, 50% of our population is under 30. Again, they are digitally connected. They have a high energy. But the thing is our education institute actually boost their energy? Because our education institute are mostly traditional yet. So talent need their energy to be actually utilized. Can you give the laptop here? Can you? So technology always not a beneficial for us. Sometimes it creates problems. Okay. Sorry for the interruptions. So what I'm saying that youth want opportunity and they don't want inequality. Okay. So now if I point out some major inequality areas, in education, we have a huge inequality. If you think about the education quality, access to education in urban areas and rural areas is significantly different. And rural areas quality of education really questionable, right? We are not getting good quality teachers and as well as opportunities. When it comes to the health, everything concentrated to the urban areas, rural areas is very difficult. People having a lot of issue for their diseases, their health, their other aspects. So agricultures. So our urban people actually depends on the rural peoples because the agriculture produce and production is happening in the rural areas and urban people are consuming it. But when we listen that farmers are not getting their right return, right? They are producing goods, they are producing all the vegetables, but they are not getting their rights and return of investment. And next, public service. Again, in every developing country, there is a middleman and public service is really poor. So again, we are living in a climate vulnerability. And especially Bangladesh is a delta country and our climate vulnerability is more than any country in the world. So these all things actually creating huge inequality. And that's come to the youth lead uprising in 2024. And it started with their right demand quota Andolan, and then that lead to a revolution, right? 2024 revolution. So why I just give this context? The context, the demand and supply. Youth is the half of the nation, and it is in Nepal, Sri Lanka, or many countries. On the other hand, the supply of opportunity is really, really limited. Politicians are failed to understand the demand of the youth. And we are living in era of AI. I call it living in the AI era, embracing the future. So now, what is AI? AI is something that we are now embedded in our life. We use AI every day, from our voice assistant, ChatGPT, even in driverless car, right? So now, can we drive our youth and prepare them for the economy in the era of artificial intelligence? Some of us may be thinking of AI is something new that came out after ChatGPT came out 2022, and no, AI journey is last more than 75 years. And you can see here, it started 1950 and it started to grow, but AI comes with a solving mathematical problem, developing huge computational oriented mathematical models. And you see in 1970s, it was kind of frozen. And again, scientists are moving around and it grows. And after 90s, it was like shrink. However, after 2000, AI is like non-stoppable. Last 25 years. The guy here who was the pioneer for this AI transformation, Jeffrey Hinton. And I never thought about it, that AI will get a Nobel Prize, and he did it in 2024. And I'm very fortunate, he was my colleague at University of Toronto while I was a scientist at University of Toronto. So AI is hugely driving in our, will drive in our economy, is driving economy of China and the USA and Europe. So we maybe think of that AI is everything, but answer is not. AI is around everything. But there is other things that is in our everyday life, which is called IoT, Internet of Things, blockchain, robotics, 3D printing, augmented reality and virtual reality, genomics, big data, cloud computing, 5G network, renewable energy, and quantum computing. I'm not going in details because I know everyone is from some kind of IT background, and I'm not going to in detail, but I'm showing this, all the technology at the heart of all this technology is AI. So I just give you some transformational example that happened last 30 years. You can see here, 30 years ago, we need to go to the bank and give a check, and then get the money. It's gonna take 4 hours. I had the experience in Bangladesh 30 years ago, right? And then when ATM machine came, then it happened to 5 minutes, okay, or less. Now we have mobile financial service in Bangladesh, is bKash, is less than a 5 second. So this is how technology is transforming. And that time, our youth is not that much. Now youth is huge, right? Now I want to give you another example. Think about it. Here, some of you are graduated from the university 25 years ago. When we actually in the university, we had to go to the library, working hours, 8-9 hours in the whole day, and reading 8-9 books and creating 2 pages of the document, right? That was our everyday life. But think about it, when 20 years ago Google came, that around 10 hours convert to 1 to 2 hours. Now we are living in era of ChatGPT, right? And which is creating things less than 2 minutes. So this is how technology is transforming. And our youth, our Gen Z is the generation of ChatGPT. Now we can think about their momentum, their speed. Now the question is our education institute, our education system, our faculty in the university ready to empower them? And if we can do that, we can empower them, we can actually reduce the equity. Now I'd like to show you some technology. So this is the driverless car. The example came out from USA and China. Next, come to the chat GPT, like large language transformer model. That is also China and USA. Okay. Next, come to the agricultural technology. This is also come to from Europe, USA, and China. Why I'm saying that I'm coming to there as well. Education. So, university education, tutoring, we are very traditional. However, Khan Academy in USA, they made Khanmigo, huge large language model tutor that is more than a teacher, right? And then Duolingo for English, and Squirrel in China. And now healthcare. Google DeepMind project, they're building a huge AI diagnostics for the people in healthcare. And also India, also something they are ahead. Q.AI is developing how can they use X-ray to diagnose many diseases. And you will be happy to know that in Bangladesh, we build Shushastra.ai, is called GoodHealth.ai, which is an AI model for preventive primary healthcare risk assessment, referral, and comprehensive continuity of care ensurement, which is implemented in Bangladesh. I will show you later, and exported to India and Pakistan. And we are discussing to other countries. So now, why I'm saying that all the advanced AI technology is built in either in USA, Europe, or China. Is there anything built in our countries, like in LMIC countries? So that is now in this conference, we have to question ourselves, how can we leverage AI and empower our youth, reduce the inequality? And AI is the new catalyst for our development. So now, question is, how can we do that? What powers AI? AI powers three things: data, model, and compute. Tushar bhai going to talk about the compute and data. In the developing country like Bangladesh or some other country, we have a huge population and we are generating data in every milliseconds. And the Facebook largest user group, second largest user group from Bangladesh. And we making Facebook $1 billion company, but we are not consuming anything. We consuming things, Facebook getting richer. That means we can generate the data. Next, model is readily available. Model need to be improved, right? And that need a computational power. So my question is, do we really need AI? Why do we need AI? Then AI solves complex problem faster and smarter. It enhances productivity, efficiency, accuracy, and transparency. Do you think that developing country like Bangladesh, we have all these problems? We need to enhance our productivity. We need to enhance our efficiency. We need to do things better. And corruption is one of the big things in our developing country. That's a transparency. And I would like to share with you, in 2030, AI market will be very big. You can see, imagine number, right? $15 trillion AI market in 2030. It's a more than the many countries of GDP and budget, right? So can we take the advantage of it? So the question is, in here, we have talents because our youth have a brain, their neurons are continuously firing, but we need to utilize them. And we have the data. The question is, we don't have the infrastructure to capture the data. And our computational power is one of the challenge. If we not able to solve these challenges, we will go to the digital divide to AI divide in the future. So that's why I actually want to ask everyone that we want to be AI user or AI creator. So be a AI consumer or AI innovators, and be a AI model developer or depends on the foreign models. And also the technology, we should import everything from outside, or we build something on our own and export. And context of Bangladesh, I believe our biggest export sector is garments, and I believe AI could be the bigger than the garment sector very soon. So if we are not able to solve this puzzle, we will be colonized. we still colonized with the technology from the foreign country, and this colonization will continue, and the distance will be very high because AI is moving so fast. So what is the way out? Way out is three things. The youth should be in the innovation, and youth should be the innovator. And we university should create our youth as an innovator. Through innovation, they can bring the efficiency in the society, and AI will be their enabler. Fourth industrial revolution technology will be their enabler. If we can use AI, we can improve access to education, enhancing learning quality and skill development, which is the missing component of many developing countries, and boosting the creativity. Our youth are creative. We need to boost it to ensure their employability and productivity. And finally, our universities should be knowledge creation center, innovation center. So what I'm trying to say here, the opportunity for empowering our economy, and AI can solve the problem of corruptions, inefficiency, good public service delivery, healthcare access, education, agriculture, traffic management, energy management, and so on. What not? And what we need in the Bangladesh or beyond Bangladesh. I'm advocating three things for every developing country, and it should happen if possible tomorrow. First is need to create AI policy. And second, AI strategy. Policy doesn't mean anything without the strategy for implementation. And finally, AI regulation. AI is a good side, AI has a bad side. So if we are not regulating AI, AI could be a big disaster in the society. That's why I often call it AI is a healer, AI is a killer. So we have to remember, we need to use AI responsibly. Okay. So here I'm just showing something that if we utilize AI, we can improve our agriculture productivity and ensure food security. We can improve the healthcare and well-being, reduce the burden of healthcare cost, and improve well-being through AI solutions. And education and human resource development. Our education need to be transformed. The education we are having, it is not creating the opportunity to creating productivity, employability, even jobs. Our education system are mostly certificate driven. I'm sorry to repeat this. Education is mostly certificate driven in many countries, and that need to be transformed and creating a skill driven, because industry is looking for skills, not the certificate, not the CGPS. So we professors need to rethink our education systems, and industry, academia, government need to cohesively work together to transform it. It's not a only academia job, and it's a job of holistic industry, academia, and government. And then public service. And we know Estonia, right? Estonia is a small country. There everything is 100% is AI driven and digital enabled, right? Even in many developing and even in China, almost everything is like online, digital driven, right? Where we are. But what I could say, our university professors have the responsibility to empower our government, our industry to do the transformation. It is not easy job, but professors need to do the job, because professors are enabler for the society. And finally, climate, environment, energy is very important. If I want to run the HPC, high performance computing, I need the energy. Without energy, we cannot do that. And energy need to be from the clean sources as much as possible. Okay. So now what I'm saying that our learning, solving, and building. So why I'm saying that? So then our degree factory to innovation engine. Our university should transform a certificate degree factory to innovation engine, and a student and teachers as an innovator and knowledge creator in the society. And research try to solve the real problem, not a piece of paper for promotions. I'm really sorry. Our Asian country, a developing country, they do research on their promotion. They are like KPI. But research should go for solving problems in the society, in the industry, and creating intellectual wealth for the economy, for the country, for the society. And as I said, industry academia collaboration for innovation ecosystem, an idea not in the shelf. Think about it. Every year, every university producing minimum 1,000 theses, right? How many of these theses transform to the solving real problem and going to the industry or in the society? Maybe percentage is less than 1% or 0. So we need to transform it. That's why ideas move to impact, not in the shell. Next is youth should be the change agent. Because if we are not able to transform the life of Gen Zs, Gen Alpha will come and they will do another revolution, not for the government, for the university professors, for us, because we are the light shader of the society. So that's why youth, they face problems. We can transform them as a problem solver. And they will be not only a job seeker. The mindset we produce in the university that you pass the university and go for the job. Why not? You can be an entrepreneur. You can be a problem solver. And they can be a local change maker, local problem solver, right? And AI and digital tool multiply their all the capability and capacity. And there should be a create leadership in problem solving, not a positions. That's why I made a concept called innovation transform union to capital. Previously the model was capital to union. Union means community and the rural areas, right? So previously all the development process was in the capital. Everything planned in the capital and top-down approach. And we failed to do the success. And now we need to reverse it. That problem happens in our communities. So community people need to be empowered to understand their problems, solve their problems. We can enable the technology to solve the problem more efficiently, more sustainably, more scalability. So that's why I'm showing that from community to district to the division to the capital, so that we can actually create a sustainable solutions. So what I'm saying that equity is built by the distributing the capability and the capacity, not charity. So therefore, we need to power our youth through institutional approach. That's why I call it that every community, every union, every ward have an youth lead problem solving center, youth lead innovation center. And AI should be the catalyst to solve that. And the local youth, they knows their problem better. And if we can empower them, they can solve it. So I already talked about there's a time limitation. I'm not going in detail. AI for education, health, agriculture, and environment, as well as government service. I would like to say a few things on the government service. Every government and private offices in developing country should have an innovation culture, an innovation center, and where their own people, with the support from the universities, they can identify their problems, they can develop solutions, they can implement, they can scale it, and they can also able to export it. So now one thing is we see very clearly in every government office. When a government big official, he transferred or he get retired, all the knowledge actually go with him. That is called institutional memory. That institutional memory is very important for the organizations. If you know that in Bangladesh, if you go to the court, you have a 30 years old case filed, it's not resolved yet. And now the high performance computing and large language model, we can create institutional memory GPT to actually address these problems. Because all the memory is living with the officers or judges, it will stay with the institute. So finally, I would like to say that all of this possible in this developing country through collaboration between industry, academia, and government. So in the LMIC country, our industry academia is broken. They are not cohesively connected. They have to be cohesively connected. That's why if we want to empower these developing country people, this cohesion activity is needed. That's why I'm saying that maybe few people think that, and I often see our big senior leaders saying that education budget is very limited, very small amount. I don't agree with them. The money is already allocated. Are we effectively utilized it? Answer is no. If you give more money, you will do more wastage. So we have to think how we can utilize a small money and use our own creativity. Because we university teachers, professors are blessed by the God with very smart neurons. We can multiply the creativity, we can do the innovation and amplify the money. So America not happened today, America as normal. They actually multiplied the creativity, and that's why they are like that. So I actually not, when I'm talking that, you may feel that I'm talking. No, 11 years ago, I started this model that I actually believing, and I'm want to do that. And I started 10 years ago in Bangladesh with that concept of university should be an innovation center and producing skilled graduate from the industry, society, and the government. So I started 2015 this model with a 3 volunteer students. And you can see here 10 years later, I have a 40 plus AI engineers and other professionals working with us and generated $3 million plus grants, 30 plus project, trained 200 plus highly talented youth who are actually now university teacher or doing PhD in USA or many other countries, and impacted 4 million people. And also established Bangladesh first brain computer interface lab. If you don't know about the brain computer interface lab, you know the Elon Musk, he building a company called Neuralink. And this is the Neuralink of Bangladesh. And we also created Bangladesh first university innovation hub. As I said, that university should be an innovation center, not a certificate production center. And this is the university innovation hub funded by the World Bank and the government of Bangladesh, and it's a model. And now this model is scaling to many other universities. And finally, in the university, you should come up with your idea from any corner of the country, and university help you to do the research, to innovate, supporting patent and your entrepreneurship journey to be a startup and to be a big impactor in the future. And we created it, we named it Launchpad. And finally, all of this together, what I'm promoting, that every university should have this center. It's called Institute of Research, Innovation, Incubation, and Commercializations. That means you facing a problem in the society, you go to that center and you do research, solve the problem, generate intellectual property, and incubate and take it to the practice through commercializations. And this is, I call it that a journey from idea to commercialization. And this is could be the synonym of a library. Because every university, we have a very embedded, rooted things. Library should be a big part of the university, right? Library is a place to gain the knowledge. Library is not the place to create the knowledge. If you want to create the knowledge, you should have an IRIC in every university. So I request everyone think in that way. Maybe we can actually able to work together to transform this developing world to a developed world very faster and soon. So now I would like to share with you that what we do. We work on the technology on AI and data science, brain computer interface, robotics and automation, augmented reality and virtual reality. And we solving problems and developing applications from health and well-being. I will share you some of the projects. And education skill development, energy, industry and business, agriculture and climate. So one of our project on health, I told you, is called Session-1 AI. It's called IGP, Intelligent General Practitioner Model, an AI-powered, health worker-driven, patient-centered model to revolutionize healthcare in many LMIC countries and Bangladesh. Let me show you the video, how it works. This model is, we hope that will be a new game changer for creating access to affordable quality healthcare at the doorsteps.
total healthcare needs of a family with infants, adolescents, adults, pregnant women, and elderly remains unmet. Community health workers lack innovation and support to provide comprehensive healthcare services to address the holistic family healthcare needs. What if healthcare wasn't just reactive, but proactive? The answer? Intelligent General Practitioner Model, IGP, an AI-powered community health workers-driven, patient-centered model to revolutionize primary healthcare delivery. Everyone has access to affordable, timely, and quality healthcare towards universal health coverage, or UHC.
So you will be happy to know that we already start to build our medical GPT. It is now phase 2 clinical trial with the funding from the Gates Foundation and IDRC Canada. So we now building a receptionist, is called AI receptionist. It uses face recognition, speaker recognition, speech to text, text to speech, and knowledge engine using LLM. It can be fitted into any offices with their knowledge engine, and it can be in your mobile phone as a receptionist for the government offices, public services, so on. And we are also working on building a Islamic GPT with one of the biggest Islamic organization called As-Sunnah Foundation. And we just completed our first version and to get authentic Islamic question answers from there. And we are now trying to work with the government, so how to help them to transforming their government service through like GPT models. And similarly with Bangladesh police, because we know nobody wants to go to the police station, right? Because of corruptions, right? We want to create the police on your fingertip. So we are building a police GPT. And we are also build a 2 brain comment interface solution, one for the marketing that going to be commercialized this year. Another is education, that how can we improve your concentration on the educations. And we also working on a big project, and maybe you guys can also collaborate, that how can we understand the potential of every individual, and so that we can drive them with their own alignment and the passion for their education and career. We are building on that. We are running a very good AI hackathon with Harvard University every year, that health system innovation hackathon using artificial intelligence. We actually running an AI forum Bangladesh to promote responsible AI for all in Bangladesh, for the professional, for the youth, for the students, and so on. So our goal is to create impact, and AI should be their integral part of it, where we actually promoting building innovation ecosystem for every institute, government, private, or like local union offices. And how can we train AI ready, AI native human resources? And finally, how your career should be boosted for AI. Because if you don't know AI, maybe your career will be very challenging in the future. So we are trying to promote that. So what I believe, that Bangladesh or many countries, you can just do the simple math, Bangladesh have a 150 universities. We need every university, one innovation center that we actually build. And we need 150 leaders, one leader in every university. Think about it. One innovation center can try to solve 10 problems. Think about it. How many problems you can solve? 1,500, right? And it would not think that everything will be successful. Think about it. 90% will fail. If you success in 10%, there will be 150 problem you solved, and each of them will be $1 billion company. And in that case, you boosting your economy and your country $150 billion. And this is something knocking our door. This is our call. Should we make it happen or just listening and forgetting? Now the call for action is collaborate locally, countrywide, and regionally, and globally, and do the partnership support and strategic action for co-creation and scale up. And thank you so much for listening. And I would love to hear if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Now or later? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. That's very inspiring. I mean, I've been doing this AI related skills and workshops and events for the last few years, and that's one of the most inspiring speeches that I have ever heard. And thank you so much once again for accepting our invitation and being here. For the I mean, I could have listened to that even for longer, but since we need to get on with the schedule as well, let us move on to the. Yeah, I have so many questions actually, but let's see. Probably we can have those discussions after the session as well. Yeah, until we figure out the technical difficulty. Let me ask you, so I mean, as I said, it's inspiring and it's also real wake up call, I think, for everybody. So one of the things, some of the things, as I said, there are two things. One is the government or the academics. As academics, we have a bigger role. And even in Sri Lanka and around, I think there's more resistance from academics than others. They are very, very, reluctant to change and also questioning. Oh, can you have a mic? Can you have a mic? Right. Now I see that, even though we are trying to change it, and as you said, the innovation and everything has to come from the youth, from the next generation through the education. How do you suggest? I mean, we understand we can't. It's very difficult to change the. Can you give it to Professor? It's changed very difficult to get the politicians to do this, but it's a common struggle that we have had. But we are struggling even more with the academics. So what's your suggestion, or what's your way forward that you think for that?
So, we are in a big dilemma. University professors think that university professors are very respectful. They should not get the KPI. They are actually year passing, and they should be promoted with number of papers. I think we need to change it, because we don't need to nothing invent. It is already in America, top universities. Professors should bring the money for the lab, creating the lab culture. They should apply for the grant and solving problems, create a company so that they can actually create the culture. So university should be a KPI driven, like a corporate. So we feel all the university professors are very respected. What they do is fine. No, everyone is accountable. being a professor, our responsibility is to actually change the society. So I made a definition of a professor. So a professor should have 3 characteristics. If you don't have these 3 characteristics, you are not a true professor. A professor should create a new knowledge, use that knowledge to actually change the society, change the industry, be a change maker, and then finally be an ideal for others. If we don't have these 3, we could not claim to be a professor in the university. School teacher is the good definition for a traditional teacher. I'm sorry for my language. It need to happen. And the another things of the developing country, especially country like Bangladesh, I'm sorry to say that our professors running after the politicians. When you go to the South Korea, politicians running after the professors, because professors is so respectful, and politicians go to the professors, try to get the advice, intellectual suggestions to actually solve the national problems. But here, our professor run after the politicians to get positions, and that need to be changed. Otherwise, the no future ahead of us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I think can we finish the next one and come back? Because otherwise we might run out of time. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So far in my first participation in High Tech Park in Computer Councils on the patenting system. So your presentation was very rich and informative, and how we can use the AI solution in different sectors. But there are many constraints in Bangladesh, as you know, everybody. But what are the ways to overcome this situation? Especially, you talk right now in about especially university professor, but these are the kind of culture. But you could you please suggest what are the ways, or government how can take initiative to change this situation? What kind of initiative of university administration can take to change the present culture? Thank you so much.
Can somebody?
First, everyone need to think about that. You have the superpower. Everywhere constraint. No one without the constraint. Everyone have the superpower. So what do you need to do? Don't think that you don't have money. You start with small. Your mind, your motivation, your strength is your knowledge and intellectual power. Many professors or many PhD holders got the PhD from good country, MIT, Harvard, and so on. And I sometimes make a fun that when they enter in the airport in Dhaka, they actually see the mismanagement and they forget everything, all the cultures they learn from USA, right? So I think it is not easy task. We have to create hope against hope, and we need to believe that we will change Bangladesh, and then it will happen. And 10 years ago, when I decided to quit my North American career and come to Bangladesh, everybody said me I am mad. And I said that I will make it happen in 10 years. So now I don't feel bad, right? So you have to sacrifice. Some generation need to sacrifice. Otherwise, Janji Janalpa will claim you that you are the one who didn't job right, and then that's why they are suffering. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Mamun. Let's move on to the. Because this color is changed. That's why I want. Again, that's fine. It's good. Yeah, I switched to the other one. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's move on to the next keynote speech. Right, it's from Professor Mossadegh Hossain Kamal, the professor in computer science and engineering at the University of Dhaka, and he'll be talking on building a national AI and HPC research backbone for Bangladesh universities. Over to you, Professor.
And welcome to this session. So you have heard from Professor Mamoon. So that was amazing, the lecture. So, and actually I am believing the same thing, that the university professor should be the producer or produce item. Okay, so what I am talking today, so that is what is discussing everywhere, elsewhere, including the Professor Mamoon and other people, they are discussing a lot of things. So what we need, the infrastructure. So I am talking about the infrastructure. That means how can we build an infrastructure that we can run the program which is developed by Professor Mamoon and other people in the country and abroad. So that's the main target of my today's speech. So that is building a national AI and HPC research backbone for Bangladeshi universities. So what I am actually, so what is my aim to this lecture is that we have a country, we have a lot of university, and we have a lot of professors in different disciplines like physics, chemistry, math, also computer science, engineering, IT. So, but we don't have any good infrastructure for research. So that's the main target. So what I am proposing here, or what I am discussing here today, so that is mainly focused on the building an infrastructure for HPC AI. Okay, so where people can run their research, run their project, run their, whatever they produce. So that's the infrastructure which actually today's need is AI and HPC. So that's my lecture. So the thing is that, so far we know that rapid growth of AI and data intensive and simulation driven research. That means our researchers currently all over the country and all over the world, if we see that our research is based on the AI, mostly people are crazy with AI. And also our university has a fragment, many universities in our country, many universities, they have their local AI solution, local infrastructure. So in their campus, so the problem is that, so this local infrastructure is not shared with the people within the university or outside of the university. So that's the one of the issue in our country. And the third thing is that we have the GPU, CPU, we know that high performance computing is very costly, and we need the licensed software for research and other things. Then operations need national coordination and APAN scale collaboration. So that's actually target for next generation infrastructure for Bangladeshi university and HPC backbone. So the problem we are facing currently in our country, especially in many universities, that AI HPC developed is isolated. That means we have islanded AI infrastructure in different university, which is hosted by different department or different discipline or research. So resource tied to individual project or department, no standard access or allocation or share policy, duplicate GPU hardware and licensed software. That means someone is actually purchasing a particular software to a university, for a particular project, and in the same university or in a different university, they are actually purchasing the same software in a different license. Okay, so that means we have duplicate of software and hardware in many places, but they are not utilized properly. Majority faculty graduate research access. So that means lack of research access. So that's the other problem in our country. Weak multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary collaboration, so which we don't have today. That means we have collaboration. That means one-to-one collaboration, but there is actually the lack of infrastructure which can actually enable us a collaboration between the faculty members, research, and projects. High national cost with low research return on investment. So our country probably, I know in 2012, and nowadays they are actually investing a lot of money for the research like World Bank, and there are other HIT projects and a lot of projects are going on. But actually we don't have any return. As Professor Mamoon said, that actually we are doing some research to produce the papers, not to produce a product. So that's the issues. And also at the same time, we have lack of infrastructure. So if someone want to do a research on inventing new drug or doing something analysis, so we don't have any infrastructure, good infrastructure. That's a lack that we have need. So what I am actually thinking about it, and what we are thinking, actually our university and also the many universities, also the BDRN. So what we are thinking that we have to have established a federated solution for AI HPC. So the federated architecture, that means the campus first AI cluster to each university. That means we can build gradually we can build a AI infrastructure in each campus. And university can retain local ownership and control. That means whatever the build in the university, so they have their policy, they have their access control and other things. And no single point of failure across the system. So which means that, so currently we have a infrastructure like BDRAIN actually hosted the HPC AI infrastructure. So if there is a failure, that means everybody will going to dark. So that's the one of the issue. National service provides support, not centralized. It will be distributed. Okay, so this is the infrastructure that we can think in each university, each local university. And the next one is that we can connect this infrastructure to each other through the BDRAIN network. So that is network federation, that is high-speed secure internet connection by BDRAIN, enabling inter-university job and data sharing, APAN ready for regional collaboration. After doing everything, we can actually share this network or share this infrastructure to other country. So that means that we can actually do the regional research collaboration between the universities in different countries. And the next thing, so after actually establish this infrastructure, we need to have some policy for access. That means the role-based access. So we know every research has PI, co-PI, and the research assistants, or there are many other people. So they are involving in many research. So that access structure we can implement for this infrastructure. And also we can actually ask the faculty member or researcher for annual budget for GPU, CPU. So these are our memory budget we can ask for, and we can actually integrate them and we can allocation the resource. Then sustainability and impact. So after this, so we have to think about that this infrastructure will actually never break down, and it will go in future, and it will be established, and it can be accessed by the people. Okay, that means shared resource software. So what we can do, so we can actually, we don't need to buy a software license in every university. We can buy software license in a particular university which they need. Like suppose an agriculture university, they need their software related to agriculture. So if I want to access from Dhaka University or from other places, so we can go to the agriculture university network or infrastructure, then we can access. So that means we can share the licenses of the software to reduce the cost. High utilization and reduce national duplication cost, and scalability and sustainable growth of AI HPC. So these are actually the main proposal for our research infrastructure. So the design principle, so which we based on the previous slide we are discussing, that means it will be federated, not centralized. So that means the resource and infrastructure will be distributed throughout the country. Shared infrastructure with strong governance, then research first, not commercial by default. So that means we'll actually do the research first. Maybe there are some collaboration with the industry and other things, so that we can manage using the MU or other things. Scalable across university and discipline, aligned with BDRAIN and global NRAIN network, so that we can do. So then it will be a distributed AI HPC infrastructure. So that is the federated model, that at campus level AI HPC cluster at the university, high speed interconnection through the BDRAIN, and the operational responsibility university manage the local scheduling, user and support. BDRAIN enables the federation, identity and data movement. Okay, so this will be the infrastructure that we are thinking about for the research. So this is the actually connectivity or relation with the local university deployment through the BDRAIN and the user access PI and co-PI of the researcher. They can access this network like this. So these are the infrastructure we are thinking. So you see, we have an example, University ABC, and there is a BDRA network. So all these university individually, they can implement their AI HPC infrastructure. Then we can connect them through the BDRA network, so which will be accessible to the research, the co-PI, the principal investigator or co-PI or other people, so who wants to do research in the university or educational sector. Okay, hosted, and then after doing this infrastructure, we can actually hosted the open source software, what we have available currently, and also we can actually purchase discipline specific commercial software. So we have some example here, so which will be implemented for based on the university characteristics and their needs and their what they are actually teaching. So based on what their research, also based on that, we can actually purchase software in different universities. Okay, then what we need, how can we access this license and other things? So that is national and regional license, we can think of it. Then HPC integrated access and cost and government benefit we'll get from here. So next thing, so after doing everything, that means the infrastructure and software. So what we need, how can we manage this system? So that's the one of the main discussion, one of the critical discussion of this infrastructure. So that means the faculty member or researcher, so those who want to do research, of those who have the project, they will submit an annual budget for GPU, CPU. That means how many hours they will actually use the GPU or how many hours they will use the CPU for a particular project. So this is the budget. So this allocation include actually in academic role, supervision, then active funded and approved. So that means when this budget is submitted to the authority, that means AI HPC management system or management authority. So the management authority will allocate, actual allocation will be going on their academic role, their project standing, it is funded or not funded. Okay, based on that, so they will allocate the resources to a particular project or to the researcher. Okay, then ultimately every year we'll review and adjust our resources according to the need. That means, so ultimately a university can understand that how much resource they have to deploy in their AI HPC system, or as a countrywide, we can think of it. Suppose this year, so if we have many requests or many demand from the professors and from the researchers, so we can increase our resources. We can buy some resources and add with the current existing AI HPC resource. Okay, then, so suppose an example. So if I give an example, a research project estimate the following annual needs, like CPU 1000 CPU hour, GPU 2500 GPU hour, memory 2 TB. So the PI responsibility prepare a complete budget, justify based on research goal, data and team size, then resource of research funding, and then review the plan and workflow. University HPC committee reviews the request, approve the project budget as suggested annually. Okay, aggregate the demand, submitted to BDRAN or national coordination. This planning impact, so that is quantifies the demand versus available capacity. So what we have currently and what will be in the future according to the demand coming from the different university or different infrastructure or research. Enable planned HPC expansion. That means how much we have to deploy, how much hardware or software we have to buy to meet the plan coming from the universities and other things. So support national GPU burst and network planning. So that we can do actually if I getting the budget from the researcher and other people. So inter-university sharing resource policy. So after doing everything, that means budget and deployment and resource and hardware, so how we can share. So this network actually give us a nice opportunity share between the universities, share of idle capacity. Suppose a university have a HPC infrastructure, but so they have many competing resource or HPC resource that is sitting idle. So other university or researchers, so they can use it. Policy governed access that course campus uses for governed by formal MU. That means if we have MU with other university or other organizations, so they can access it. Then local priority guarantee, that means home university, which actually deploy the AI HPC, that university should get the high priority to run their research project or program. Then quota and fairness control, that means shared resource is it should be time bound and subject to fair use and accounting mechanism. That so we have to submit a budget before actually accessing the resource at the start of a year. So based on that, the quota and fairness will be maintained. Research collaboration establishment, suppose if we have joint research, different universities or different projects, so we can use this infrastructure with MU or this type of infrastructure. Okay, then non-commercial and non-academic and commercial use policy, academic research and teaching. So this is the default, that will be allowed default in the federated this AI HPC infrastructure. Commercial consultancy and startup use, that is restricted by default, but industry, academia, collaboration, research allowed under approved MUI. MUO, then cost recovery require for any non-academic or revenue govern use, generating use, then legal and IP compliance, that means mandatory review of license and data and liability, priority rule, academy workload and research will be get higher priority than the industrial or other. Okay, supporting, so what it will enable us the supporting multidisciplinary research, then AI, like AI data science, climate, food and environment modeling, health, bioinformatics and genomics, energy system, material and physics, chemistry, language technology, social like Bangla, NLP, text and policy analytics. So there are, so if we can establish this type of infrastructure, so we can do the interdisciplinary research between different subjects and between different disciplines. Okay, access and identity model. So the build a research team. So that means so in the research team, so this infrastructure actually inherently take the architecture or take the policy which is given for the research or guideline. So it will build a research team, so which have a principal investigator, so that will own the project, approve the user. Suppose we have a project under a PI, so and the PI have one or two co-PI or there are research assistants. So in this infrastructure, the BDRAIN or the University AI HPC authority will create the account for the PI and PI will create the other co-PI and research assistant authority under a project. So that will be done. Okay, and there will be role-based access. That means the PI will define what will be the access for co-PI, PI, and research assistants. So that will be defined by the PI. So there will be federated identity. That means university credential with cross-campus recognition. That means if I have accounted to a particular university, so I can use this account to access to other university resources. Audit and isolation, full users of logging, accounting, and project level isolation. We need it because every project have a privacy, and so there is a budget that we have said that beginning of a semester or a year. So that we have to. So now, so we have a very small infrastructure in BDRAIN for HPC. So if I compare the centralized structure with this proposed federated national infrastructure, so the centralized structure normally it is a single national facility at a location. The federated infrastructure will be multi-campus AI HPC cluster across the universities. Single point of failure, so that is if we have a centralized infrastructure, so there is a possibility that power outage, network disconnectivity that may happen. But for the distributed or federated infrastructure, so suppose one campus is off, so we can access other campus also. So there are resources available in that particular scenario. Very high upfront capex with long procurement cycle. That means, so if you want to procure the item in the centralized system, so we need a big plan, and we have to have procure this item. It needs a long time, because when we do a plan, so we have to take all the information from the university, what is their needs, what they want to do in the future. So it will be a very long process for procurement, and also it is very costly. At the same time, for the distributed system or the federated AI HPC, local autonomy, that means university, they can actually add their resource increasingly or gradually they can add resource whenever they need, and they can. Okay, Q dominance by large labs. Okay, then quota based in federated HPC, so we can use the quota based fair access. All data is centralized at the centralized system, or currently we have. And for the federated or distributed system, we have campus level data locality, which is selective data movement, rigid, uniform, and software stack in the centralized system. In a federated HPC, so we can actually implement discipline-based or discipline-specific software stack at campus. Limited scalability after deployment. But for the distributed or federated AI HPC, we have organic scalability as the university grows. Suppose our university, particular university is very small, they have very small number of faculty or subjects. So when this university goes, so they will have a larger demand what they have currently, so they can increase their resources in their AI HPC. Okay, and if we see the centralized system, it has a long recovery time. That means once it is, if you want to change it, or if you want to upgrade the software or hardware, or if we want to discontinue the old hardware or software, so in that case, it will take long time in the centralized system. For the federators, that we can do rapidly in our local system, because the small is comparatively small, and it will be affected by not all the people in the country or universities. It will be affected by the local campus only. So in that particular time, when the system is off, the people from that particular university can access the resources to the other universities. Okay, the governance and sustainability, if we think that national screening committee, so there should be a national screening committee, so which will be owned by UGC, ICT division, BDRAN, and participating university. So they can actually do their policy and the alignment. University level HPC committee. So university may have a HPC committee which will maintain and actually take the budget from the researcher and maintain the software and hardware infrastructure. Sustainable funding model, that means baseline funding, public and research for heavy on standard uses. Then capacity building, continuous training for the researcher, PA and system administrator, monitoring and review, periodic evaluation, utilization, impact, and infrastructure growth. So that means, so suppose this year we have a particular hardware based on the demand that is given by the researcher and professors or students. Next year, maybe we may need new hardware. So that's why you have to monitoring and review the infrastructure always. And so I think what you can take from here, that means we are thinking a federated infrastructure. So where every campus have their own AI HPC, and this AI HPC will be connected through high-speed BDD network. So whatever the research demand in the university and the national wide, so that can be run on this AI infrastructure. So what this will do, so it will elevate Bangladesh global research competitiveness, then retain and act top faculty research and graduate students, enable APAN scale and global research collaboration. That means, so if we can establish a nationwide HPC with this federated architecture, then we can actually connect this AI HPC with the regional, with other country or other AI HPC that is resides in a neighboring country. Building a future-proof AI HPC ecosystem for the university, improve return on the public investment, strengthen the multidisciplinary industry-relevant research, so position university national innovation anchors. So that means, so nowadays, so at the end, what I want to say that, nowadays we have lot of demand in our universities, so that we are feeling when you are going to the university. So you will see, so we have lot of demand from the people, from the student, from the teachers, from the various department. That means we need a AI HPC infrastructure. We need a research infrastructure, but we don't have. We didn't have. Every day I have to actually tell the people, wait, we'll have a resource in the next day, so you can do your research. So whatever research you are going to do, so that will produce a product for our country to grow our economy, or whatever, it will increase our knowledge. Ultimately, we need a AI infrastructure. So that is not centralized, but that should be distributed. That means university can plan their own, and actually the plan will be influenced by their need and the characteristics of the university. Thank you very much.
We can have a few questions for both Professor Kamal and Professor Mamoon. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have another mic? Yeah. Can we have another mic?
Thank you. My name is Mohammad Shafil Alam Khan. I'm working in the HIT project as a consultant. We have heard two presentations, and we get different ideas like how the collectively universities can get resources for AI research and the other stuffs. And in another presentation, we also get the scope of how individual can contribute to the national economy through marketing products and the other stuffs. So I think there are a lot of ecosystem supports required for getting those stuffs. I'm just asking questions to the foreign participant over here, and at the same time the chair as well. How this sort of, the problem is common in this region, I think. The scarcity of resources, getting computing infrastructures evenly in the universities, and getting support for industry-ready products and these sort of issues. How you are addressing those issues in your countries and the other areas. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think so. Let me add that. I mean, I would like both the professors to answer that one. I had a similar, very specific questions actually with your presentation. Now you said you want to set up AI HPC clusters in every university. Now, in Sri Lankan context at least, and some little bit of experience that I have had in the region in the last few years. One of the things that we see is it's very difficult or even impossible for us to have resource persons to run these places, to maintain these systems. So in Sri Lanka, for example, we are looking at whether we can have a centralized system, because we especially like Learn or like BDRN can actually support the cost, but the university, for the university's salaries, we can't hire people to run these things. That's number one. And we were actually actively looking at setting up the Sri Lankan AI HPC system. And we actually went to Thai HPC, the Lanta Supercomputer and Singapore Supercomputing Center, and we met the AI head of NVIDIA, Dr. Simon C. as well. And what they said is now to build a supercomputer that level, it require about 100 million USD at least, but the GPUs will be obsolete in a 2 to 3 years time. Right now the turnover is even faster. So how do you propose, like, I'm very very fascinated by what you want to do, but the practicality of doing this, especially like for economies like Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, how do you see it succeeding?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So the thing is, actually don't think big at the very beginning. Okay, think actually a little thing. Suppose if you have a computer, if you just have a very good server, so what we can do, we start with a single server. Suppose we have a university with 2 or 3 departments or maybe 2 or 3 faculty. So they can start with a single server or 2 or 3 servers. Okay, so that we can build a cloud computing there or a HPC like infrastructure that we can start. So now after that, we have a connection with BDRAN. All the universities in Bangladesh, they have a connectivity with BDRAN. So what we can do, we can actually connect this server to BDRAN. And we can actually, the BDRAN can do the infrastructure for accessing, that means the access control or user authentication centrally. Okay, so that means, so if BDRAN authenticate exists a particular person, so that person can able to access the resources from any universities. Okay, so after doing this, so next year, suppose we have a larger demand. So what we can do, we can add a new server or new computing system or services. So that we can do in our system. So every university nowadays have a ICT cell. So they have at least they have the required technological background or engineering background, so they can maintain this server and actually they can day to day they do the all these things. Okay, so we can start with very little and grow day by day. Okay, that we can do. So, and another thing is that in every university, like we have a agriculture university, we have some engineering university, we have some medical system, medical colleges or medical universities, we have general university, and there are some specialized university in different regions of Bangladesh. So all these universities does not need the same resources. So they need their own resource with their own requirement to fulfill their own requirement. Suppose the agriculture university, they needs the agriculture software and those are the things they need. But for BUET, so they need the engineering software and other things. So that means for the locality to fulfill the requirement of locality, so that will be much more easier if you think about the cost. Because when you buy the thing in centrally, so that will be very costly, because we will have a very large infrastructure centrally that we have to establish, and the software license should be like that. So that's why what I'm thinking. So before 25 years, so I saw a network infrastructure throughout the world. So if I can provide some resources that we can connect to the research network throughout the world, so which I getting from the Sydney University of New South Wales, that's concept. So that network is currently already is there. But if we can, so it will be not burdensome for a particular university to implement resource gradually or increase it gradually. But for the centralized system, suppose if we want to establish it in the BDRAN premises, so think about the budget, what they will need. It will have a very large budget at the very beginning. But if we establish in the university, they can start with a very little thing according to their need. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kamal. Any other questions?
Thank you. My name is Jubair Al Mahmoud, currently working as a lecturer at the Department of CSE, Jashore University of Science and Technology. Also, I'm an assistant director at Just ICT Cell. My question is to Honorable Kamal sir. Sir, so let's say, according to your model, a university purchases its license for a particular software. And now, if they want to distribute that centrally, that means to other universities, won't that be legal? Because when we purchase a software for a specific institution, the provider usually propose that you cannot redistribute the license. That means other institutions cannot use those products. So what's your concept on that, sir?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So don't buy license for the user, buy license for the servers. So that will be more easier, because your license from your server will never move to the other system or other university. So it will be resides to your university only. So, but suppose we can think like this, that is the 80% will the access for the resource, that is 80% time the local user will access the resource and 20% for the other university user, that we can think. So, or it's based on the policy, maybe 70 or 30%. So these 30% time, so they will access your server and they will use the license, so which is given to the server, not to a particular user. So it depends on the license, how you buy this license. If the license is for the user, in that particular case, so you have to actually buy the license for many users. So think about it. So what will be the best choice, or what will be the best thing for that? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I think there are a lot of concerns and a lot of issues, but as both of our eminent speakers mentioned, we need to find a way to rise above this and face the challenges and go forward. I think unfortunate situation in countries like, especially like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and similar countries is that whenever we face a obstacle, we just do nothing. Right, and that's one of the things that you will question what will happen. AI becomes dominant. Will it kills our students' creativity? So we'll just discuss and do nothing. Right. So I think so the time is as Professor Mount it reiterated multiple times. Right time is right. We need to do something. We need to go forward. We cannot sit on this one, and because it's going to be even worse. And we need to come up with different models, different ways that it can work in our different context around the region. And we have gone around and we have different problems, different challenges, but we need to figure these things out. So I think that's I think the key message in this one. There are a lot of things to do, but we need to start now. We need to do something, right? And there's a lot for us to do. Okay, so we are actually out of time. So I was supposed to present a report on the AP Gun workshop series. This is a workshop series that we have done with APNIC IC funding. We did this project in collaboration with BD-REN, Learn Lanka Education and Research Network, along with BD-REN. We got a grant of 150,000 USD to conduct workshops. We had workshops, official workshops in Japan, APAN59 and APAN60 in Hong Kong. In addition to that, we have conducted more workshops in Pakistan at 58, and we are conducting another workshop here. And we have also conducted other pilot workshops at BD-REN in Sri Lanka as well. So far, we have trained, done hands-on training, student-centered or participant-centered workshop for around 450 participants across 16 countries in the region. And we have also received other funding to do training for other places as well. So we got another funding to do that. But I will present the more details about that one in the second session of the HPC AI working group that will be conducted on Thursday, 29th of January at 9 o'clock. I will present more details about the outcome of those workshop series in consideration of the time. We are also, as I mentioned, we have been conducting the APAN conference for 3 iterations now. The 4th APAN International Conference on AI, HPC, and Resilient Systems, Power in the Net Frontier, will be conducted along with APAN62 in Auckland, New Zealand in August. So tentatively, the date is set to August 13th, 2026. That's a Thursday of that week. So we have the conference on one day along with the APAN meeting on that entire week. So the call for proposals, call for papers will be released this week. because we were waiting for some dates for the APAN62. So we will release the call for papers within this week, and I'll announce it officially at the General Assembly on Friday. But look out for the call for papers, and your participation will be, greatly appreciated. From up to now, we have published these papers with Springer, Spitfinger, and from this year onwards, we are collaborating with IEEE, and the papers will be published. The selected papers will be published in IEEE Extreme. And okay, so the next session will happen on Thursday. You are all invited to attend that as well. If you are interested in being a part of this HPC AI working group, please join our mailing list. You can scan the QR code and join our mailing list so that we can share our collective ideas and have the discussions in the mailing list of APAN Working Group on HPC AI. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for attending. And once again, my deepest gratitude goes to our two keynote speakers, Professor Abdul Manmoon and Professor Mossadegh Hossain Kamal. Thank you so much once again for accepting our invitation and being here. It's very inspiring, and hope we will get your participation in APAN events in the future, so that we can actually bring together the community and work towards collaborative solutions for the region. Thank you so much. And once again, thank you so much for attending, and I wish you all a very successful APAN 61 meeting.